Science!
It is a superb sight.
Well, good evening. Wonky Astronomer here, coming to you from the HazoGazo here in Hazelbrook, New South Wales, Australia. I can tell that my audio is working, so I don't have to ask you. Now let's bring up the stream here. Wait a minute. There it is. So, welcome everyone to the Lunar Eclipse, and the weather's been a little dodgy. You can see just to the right of my head there, that's the view from my all-sky camera. Camera's shooting straight up, looking at the clouds, and it's showing an animation from about the last hour. Now, wait a minute. I think I can make that bigger. Here we are. Yeah, there's a bigger version. So that's the last hour, and as you can see, it's been quite cloudy. The forecast said it wasn't going to be cloudy, except maybe around 4 a.m. But it has been pretty bad actually the last couple of hours. But right at this moment, it's not too bad. And you can see on the left there is a image through my telescope showing the moon. You can see some clouds drifting across it. So we do still have some clouds, but at the moment it's about the best it's been the whole evening. Now I'll just adjust that image a little bit, and I'll tell you a little bit about what the things are on the screen. As I said, to the right of me here is the all-sky camera. Over on the far right are some timers telling us how long it is until each of the significant events in the eclipse. So we can see from that the penumbral eclipse began 34 minutes ago. After an event has passed, it becomes a plus and it turns red. And the next event coming up is the partial eclipse, will begin in about 24 minutes. Now, I'll explain what those mean in a little while. If you're watching and you're on YouTube, if you have an account, I guess, leave a comment. Tell me where you're from. I'm interested to know. Here in Eastern Australia, we are getting a view of almost all of the eclipse. In other parts of the world, for example, the United States, they miss out completely. Europe doesn't get a great view. I should actually show the map here. Just a moment. Yeah, here's the map showing I wonder if I can use my pointer there. My pointer does show up. It's a little small. But that section in the middle there, between the green lines, if you're in that section, you'll see the entire eclipse. Where I am in Eastern Australia, well, Western Australia is in that zone. They will see the entire eclipse. As you go further east, so for example where I am near Sydney, the eclipse will be almost entirely visible, but we do miss the very last part, the penumbral, what's called P4 there. So we miss the last part of the penumbral eclipse. Hello Ashley, watching from England. I should show a couple of these other comments that were made actually before the stream started. Rob Shaw there, asking about the weather. He's in Penrith, which is fairly close to here. It's about an hour drive, or less than an hour actually. And cloud down there is pretty bad. Yeah, I think, see, those clouds are moving to the east. It's hard to say though, because Penrith is down on the plains and we're up in the mountains. So, the cloud situation can be completely different. And Aline found the channel while searching on YouTube from Adelaide. Hello. Adelaide will get a slightly better view than we do. As I was just saying, so Adelaide is, where are we? Adelaide's about there. Actually, just inside the green line there, so you get to see the entire eclipse. Now, anything east of that line will miss out on the end of the eclipse. The further east you are, the more you miss out at the end. So New Zealand, for example, will miss part of the total eclipse because the moon will set before that phase finishes. Over on the other side, on the west here, Africa, so the east coast of Africa gets to see the entire eclipse, but further west they'll miss the beginning. And as you can see, most of Europe, or at least Western Europe, will miss quite a bit of the beginning. The UK there, they will miss most of the beginning. I think the moon will rise while the moon is fully eclipsed. And so they will miss the early phases and the start of the total eclipse, but they'll see the end of it. And here, as I was saying, around Sydney, we only missed the last part of the penumbral eclipse. So we should see the entire total eclipse. Now, having said that, my exact location here in my backyard, my telescope cannot see all the way to the western horizon, so the moon will go below the trees at some point. I think it'll go below the trees soon after the end of the total phase. So we'll miss the end of the second partial phase, but we get to see most of it. Wawuki says, greetings from Oklahoma. Are you linked to the Three Rivers? No, I'm in Australia, not Texas. If I was in Texas, I wouldn't be able to see the eclipse at all. Now, what I might do is show a simulation. So down in the bottom right there, we've got a simulation, and just zoom out a little bit on that. So that's showing the current situation. We're well into the penumbral phase, as you can see from the timers. We're 39 minutes or 40 minutes into the penumbral phase. And what you've got there in that simulation, you can see the moon just partly inside this big circle, and you've got a big circle and a small circle. So the small circle is the full shadow of the Earth. It's the darkest part of the shadow, or the umbra, and the outer circle is the partial shadow, or the penumbra. So the moon is currently partly in the penumbra. So what I'm going to do is run that forward at high speed. Let me see, 200 times. Run it backwards a little bit. So this is what happened about 40 minutes ago. The Wookie says they have a partnership with Observatory in Australia. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, or what observatory that might be. So this is what happened 40 minutes ago. The moon entered the penumbra, or the partial shadow. That is barely noticeable. I mean, you can look at the moon there on the left, my telescope view, you can just see a little bit of darkening near the top, but it's not really obvious. And then that takes about an hour, and then it will start to enter the full shadow, or the umbra, and get very dark and red. It's depicted as red there in that simulation. And then when it's fully in the umbra, it'll be totally eclipsed, and it should turn quite red. And we'll stay in that phase for about an hour and 22 minutes. And then it will all happen in reverse. So the moon will come out of the umbra there, the main shadow, and then it will be partially eclipsed. We call this the partial phase. This is the second partial phase, and it's going into the umbra. And once it comes out of the umbra there, at some point around this time, that's when the moon will go below the trees from my view here. And then finally it comes out of the penumbra. In fact, the moon will set before it fully comes out of the penumbra from my location. So let me put that back to the current time. That's showing exactly how it is now. Now let's look at what we're actually seeing through the telescope. We've actually got some good clear sky at the moment. Now, is that the same orientation? It is. You've got to be careful with the orientation. Sometimes your maps show a different orientation from the telescope, and you can flip it. But that looks like the same orientation on the simulation and through the telescope. I'll zoom in a little bit on that. Now, yeah, as you can see, top left in that telescope view, which is directly below me, I've just realised the wrong label is on that view. It says live telescope view black and white, but it's actually colour. I've actually got two cameras. There are the two cameras, and the one on the right is black and white. That is overexposed. Wow. That one on the right. That's the minimum exposure that I can set on that camera, and it's still overexposed. And I think it's because there's a little bit of cloud which is sort of spreading out the light. Because usually that works. Ah, wait a minute. Maybe it's just playing with the settings here. It's 2:15 in the morning here, so I'm not going to get much sleep tonight. I think my wife is just moving about. She's probably going to go to bed soon. I might be able to get her to come in and make an appearance. Probably not though, she's a bit shy. Hello from Greece. I'm sorry I can't pronounce that name because I can't read Greek, but hello. Yeah, so the one on the right is black and white. The one on the left is colour. Now, I should try to fix that label there. Let me try to fix that. Just give me a moment. Oh, I think I know why that happened. I remember. Yep. I did something funny. Okay. There you go. Now it says colour. it's actually covering that view a little bit. Oh, by the way, I should put a ticker up. There's the ticker.
30 minutes.
If it gets cloudy, I'm going to, well, I hope to be able to look at a feed from somewhere else. Now let me just center that. As you can see, the view on the left, if I center that, the one on the right's not centered. Just a moment. Ooh, it's a little bit windy. I can hear the wind outside, and the see the image on the right there is shaking a little bit. Let me just show the, that's the telescope in the dome. Now wait a minute. Make sure that stream is running. Okay, so there you can see the telescope in the dome. Tassos Andrio. Tassos Andrio. I'm probably still mispronouncing that, but I did my best. Hello. In Greece. Yeah, so there's the telescope. It's there's actually two telescopes. The big one is the main one, and that has the black and white camera. And the one, there's a little one piggybacked on top of that, and that has the color camera. And you can actually see the moon there through the opening in the dome. Now, as you can see from the simulation, we're getting very close. The moon is getting close to that inner circle, and it's really starting to darken at the top left in the telescope view there. I think I got lucky with the cloud here, but I just hope it doesn't get too windy. I'm just distracted by because I think my wife's gonna want to say goodnight. But no, I think she's starting to watch a YouTube video at 2:18 in the morning. All right, now, yeah, we're getting a good view there actually, of that darkening of the upper left of the moon. Now, I might just check the weather. Actually, before that, I might check what's happening on other feeds. Here we are. Here we are. I'm pressing the button. Nothing's happening. There it is. Okay, so we've got some other feeds. That one in the top left, look at, well, I'm talking about the bottom right view there. Some video feeds. The one top left is from time and date. Now, you may notice that their moon is oriented a bit differently. I've got mine oriented based on equatorial coordinates because I have an equatorial mounted telescope. they may be showing it the way it appears to the eye in the sky. Oh, I'm hearing the wind again. The one in the top right hasn't started yet. That's another 84 minutes. Wow, they're leaving it a long time. They're leaving it until after totality begins. And then that's the bottom left one there. That's from Associated Press. So let's have a look at one of those actually. So there's the time and date one. Time and date are always very good at streaming things like this. I'll just turn on the sound momentarily. Do they have commentary? I think they just have music. Thought I saw some commentators there. And okay, this one is from Associated Press. I'm not very impressed with that view. I think it's a bit overexposed. And there's no information on the screen, not even the time. Whoops, shouldn't be scrolling that. Yeah, on that view you can see a little bit of darkening, but it's very subtle. I think my view on the left is much better than Associated Press. Actually, wait a minute, let's look at the time and date again. I think mine's better than that one as well. Right, let's look at, we've got about 4 minutes until the partial phase begins. Let's just look at a bit of news coverage that was on Australian TV here. Let's see, this one.
Stargazers are in for a treat early Monday morning when, clear skies allowing, they'll be able to see the second total lunar eclipse of this year, which will transform the full moon into a coppery red blood moon. Dr. Laura Dreesen is an astronomer at the University of Sydney and is with me in the studio. Great to see you, Laura. So what can people expect to see early on Monday?
So it should be really cool, and all of Australia gets to see this one. So we don't have to say which city, everyone in Australia will be able to see this. So you'll be able to see the moon going into the Earth's shadow. So you'll see that shadow crossing in front of the moon. The moon will get fully into Earth's shadow and turn that beautiful red. It'll be in there for about 82 minutes and then coming out the other side.
So why does it turn red?
So it turns red because red light doesn't scatter in our atmosphere. So blue light, all of those other colours, they scatter away. It's why the sunset is red too. And red light also bends a bit around the Earth. So the only light from the sun that hits the moon is the red light.
So we say early Monday morning. How early?
Yes, very early, depending on where you are. If you're on the East Coast, sort of Eastern Standard Time, you probably want to get up around 2:30 a.m., similar for Central Time. But if you're in WA, it's more like midnight, 12:30 a.m. in the morning on Monday.
We're seeing pictures of a previous one now. The moon seems bigger somehow. Is that an optical illusion? Or
yes, so there's a really cool illusion called the moon illusion. When the moon is close to the horizon, our brains, for some reason, we don't actually know why, make it look really, really big. So it'll be pretty high in the sky, sort of towards the west, so it shouldn't look particularly big compared to normal.
Are these rare events, Laura?
On average, anywhere in the world, it's roughly once a year, but actually there's going to be another one that some of Australia will be able to see in March next year. And then for anywhere in the world, we have to wait until the very end of 2028 to see the next one. So the 31st of December, 2028. So we've got a bit of a wait for the next good one.
And do you need a telescope to see it well, or how well can you see it with the naked eye?
So the best part of a lunar eclipse is you really don't need any special equipment at all, just hopefully nice clear skies. And so long as you can see the sort of west but reasonably high up in the sky, you should be able to see it.
So we had one early in the year, is that right? I think that's where the pictures were from that we were seeing earlier.
Yes, that wasn't very good from Australia though, so it wasn't really, I think we only really got most of the partial eclipse, not the full eclipse where the moon goes really into that dark part of the shadow. So that one wasn't really for us, but this one, Australia and a few countries on this side of the earth will see it, but the US and the Americas won't see this one at all.
So we can say with some certainty that you will be up at, what, 3 a.m. watching?
Yes, I'll try.
Eclipse.
Come on, Sydney.
Laura, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Not a bad news item. Fairly accurate. Now, we're getting very close now. Less than 2 minutes until the partial phase begins. So what I'm going to do is try to adjust that exposure so we can see it better. Okay. Right, got it on automatic at the moment. It's hard to know what exposure to use. Wait a minute. Do a stretch. You can see in the simulation there, bottom right, how the moon is getting very close to that inner circle. There's the inner circle. It's getting very close to that. Okay, I had an automatic setting there. It can be difficult to see when the bite is taken out of the moon. It's right about now that it's starting, according to my timers on the top right there. See, if I increase the exposure, the bottom part gets overexposed, and the top part, it's not obvious that there's a bite out of it. If I bring it down, probably have to wait a little bit until it really, you really get a noticeable bite out of it before we can really see it properly. Let's look at what time and date's showing. Yeah, see, their view has the same problem. Rather than a tiny bite out of the edge, they've got sort of the whole side of the moon is just darker than the rest. So it's not a clean shadow edge there. I think I can see it on my monitor here, but it's not showing up really well on the stream. Ooh, that's not good. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Not seeing any red yet. It's difficult to see the red colour until a significant amount of the moon is in shadow. Now, the one on time and date there looks very red, but I think that's fake. Because it doesn't look like that. Only the fully eclipsed part normally looks red. I guess the penumbral part could look a little bit red. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit strange. Adjust that. Now the black and white camera, let's have a look what the black and white camera is showing. Where is that? There? Actually, I'll just show them both. They're not aligned with each other, so I can't center them both at the same time. Yeah, actually now that does look like a nice, fairly well-defined bite out of the top left of the moon there. There's something funny about that black and white camera. It looks like the moon's not round. I don't know why that is. I've never noticed that before with this camera. And that exposure I've got there is the minimum exposure this camera can do. It's 1/100,000th of a second at absolute minimum gain. Oh, wait a minute. I have the gamma setting there. I can change. Okay. Yep, that looks not bad. But it's only black and white. Yeah, I think the color camera is better. Go back to the simulation. You can see now a significant part of the moon is inside the inner circle, and it's showing there as red, and that sort of matches my telescope image. Now let's look, before too much of the moon gets hidden, let's look at at a map of the moon, and we'll have a look at what the main features are. So at this time when the moon is full, as it always is during a lunar eclipse, you can't really see much in the way of craters, because you see the craters best when the sunlight's coming from the side and you get the shadows, mountains and craters casting shadows, but that's not happening at full moon, so you really only see the large features, the dark and light regions. It's a little overexposed, isn't it? So let's just identify the major regions there, the Maria, or the seas as they are called. So we've got, hang on, how can I do this? Okay, there's my pointer on the live view. So this one right over on the right hand edge is a small sea. Of course, they're not really seas. They're just called seas. People a long time ago thought they might be actual seas. So that one is called Mare Crisium. Mare just means sea. And below that, let's see, down here, that one is Mare Fecunditatis. Then we've got
10 minutes.
here on the live view there, that is Mare Tranquillitatis, or the Sea of Tranquility. Let me highlight that. That is, I could zoom in actually. That is, of course, where first human moon landing occurred. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed there. And then further up there is Mare Serenitatis, or the Sea of Serenity. Over to the left, over here, here, this big dark area that's being covered by the Earth's shadow gradually, that is Mare Imbrium. And let's see, down bottom left here, that one, which is over here, is Mare Humorum, or Humorum. I think that's the Sea of Humours, which doesn't mean it's funny. I think it means it's like humours are like gases or something. I don't know. Okay, now that one, let's see, that one there, wait a minute. There is Mare Nubium. And the rest, I think, are mostly now covered. That one, is that one covered? I think actually there's a crater there. That crater, Copernicus. Can we see that? Yeah, is that Copernicus? Ooh, I'm a bit unsure about that. That's Copernicus. Copernicus is a very well-known ray crater. It has rays emanating from it in all directions. But as I said, it's a little bit hard to see the craters when the sun is, when the moon is at full phase. Wow, it's really got a big bite out of it now. I might start to be able to see the colour, the red colour. Okay, I think I have to increase the exposure to see the colour. I think that shows the edge of the shadow very well. Let me look at time and dates feed again. Looks very different from mine, doesn't it? But with that high exposure that I've got there, it shows the edge of the shadow very well. Still doesn't look red though. All right. Go back to automatic exposure. Now we can see more of the features of the moon. I think I might take a break. let's see, how long have we got before totality? We've got 50 minutes before totality, so I might take a break for about 40 minutes. All right, so I'll take a break and come back when we get close to totality. I'll turn on the simulation. I can see that. See, that's starting to match. It matches my view, doesn't it? See, it is real. All right. Yes, I'll come back in about 40 minutes, and then we'll see totality. The beginning of totality. I should say that this is a very long event, several hours, so I'm not going to be here talking the whole time, but and I won't stay for the entire eclipse either. But what I'll probably do is, after totality begins, I'll come back for totality, beginning of totality, and then after we get into totality, I'll probably sign off for the night, and I'll leave the stream running so you can keep watching the moon, but I won't be here. I've got a comment here from Jen. I've heard that usually within 2 weeks of lunar eclipse is a solar eclipse. Is that true? It is true. Okay, I'll postpone my break to answer this question. Let me just bring up a page here. I got so many buttons. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yes, so I believe there is a solar eclipse coming up in 2 weeks.
3 minutes.
Let me just see if I can see that. When is next lunar eclipse? I thought it would say here when the next eclipse is. I'm pretty sure there's a solar eclipse in 2 weeks. I think it's only a partial one though, and I'm not sure where it's visible. Okay, wait a minute. Let me just search for it. Search for solar eclipse September 2025. Sunday 21st of September. There is a solar eclipse. Hang on, that's the wrong one. Solar eclipse of September 21, 2025. Right. So that little graphic there shows where it will be visible. Let me see. It looks like, yeah, it's only a partial eclipse and it's sort of visible in the South Pacific. New Zealand, basically just New Zealand gets to see it. Maybe Australia gets a little bit. Antarctica gets it. So, yeah, not many people are going to see that. So there you have it. Let's go back to our normal view. Thanks for that question, Jen. So now we've got 46 minutes until totality. So I might take a break for 30 minutes. Not 40 minutes. About 30 minutes.
30 seconds.
Yep. And, oh, hang on. What happened there? Okay, it's back.
20 seconds.
You're welcome, Jen.
15 seconds.
I like to get questions. Otherwise, what am I going to talk about?
10, 9, 8, 7,
Okay, so
5,
I'll be back in about 30 minutes for the start of totality.
0,
So stick around.
plus 5,
Wait a minute. How do I do this?
plus 10.
Well, good evening. I came back a little bit early from the break because there's an interesting event that
2
we
minutes.
can watch now, and that is an occultation of a star. If you look at this simulation here, you'll see that just off the edge of the moon there is a star, which I've highlighted, and the moon is moving, hang on, that way, up and to the left in that view. And if we look at our other, let's see, the other camera, we can see just off the left edge of the moon there, we can see that star. And that is going to be covered by the moon, or occulted, in about, when will it happen? In about 1 minute, actually. So let's put
60
that more in the
seconds.
center. Actually, I might zoom the camera. There it is.
50 seconds.
Look at that. You can see that star just off the edge of the moon. I've got a countdown.
40 seconds.
And should disappear pretty much exactly
30
when the
seconds.
countdown gets to 0.
Twenty seconds.
Here we go. Watch carefully.
15 seconds.
It's now just like a little pimple on the edge of the moon there.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Wow. Disappeared almost exactly at 0.
Plus 5.
Well, there you have it. An
Plus
occultation.
10. Plus 15.
Now, I've got actually some other
Plus 20.
occultations. The next one, actually the timer there at the top left is showing the countdowns to these occultations of
Plus 30.
several stars that happened during the eclipse. I think those next two, which are up there, will happen
Plus 40.
during totality. All right, let's go back
Plus 50.
to our previous view, and you can now see the moon is really starting to look red.
Plus 60.
Like it's supposed to. Now I thought I might just show you a little bit of about my observatory. Let's see. Okay. There is a picture of my observatory at night. My observatory is just a plastic dome in my backyard. I built it in 2019 from a kit. Came in those cardboard boxes, and I just put it together fairly easily. So there's the dome itself on my back patio. Put a concrete slab down. Those holes there are for the legs. Built the walls on the slab, and put in some floor, carpet tiles, and there is a picture of my telescope on its mount in the observatory. That's a picture I took today, actually. You can see the big telescope there, the light coloured one with the dark thing on the front. And the little yellow one on the top, that's the one we're seeing that view of the moon through right now. And on the back of it is a camera, which is that red thing there. If you want to know what that is, it's a ZWO brand camera, ASI 533 MC. The MC means it's color camera. The scope at the bottom there, that's the one that's giving that view, the black and white view. But the color camera is better. Gives a better resolution image, and you know, for a lunar eclipse, color is much better. There's another view of the telescope. Just took that today. There is the dome in the backyard. It's quite close to the house. The house is on the south side. Most of the observing I do is towards the north. Coming from Ashley there. Cool setup. Nicely done. Thank you. And from the street, you can see that my dome from the street there. That's the house with the... so when I say my backyard, it's really at the side of the house. So you can see the dome there.
15
that little
minutes.
white thing beside the house. And there's a picture of it at night with a light on inside, which makes it glow. Now I'm just checking how long we've got until totality. 7 minutes. Let's go back to the simulation. Okay, just recenter that. Backseat raccoon. Is that an emoji? Looks like a cat with binoculars. Very appropriate. It's interesting that moon looks redder on the stream than it does on my screen right here, which I can't show you. But, you know, that's what I'm capturing to put into the stream, and yet it doesn't look as red. Could be just that it's on two different monitors, so they show the color differently. Okay, I'm curious how the other feeds are looking. Let's look at time and dates stream there. So look, theirs doesn't look as red as mine. They've got some commentary happening there. Let's turn that on.
The moon really does get very faint during totality. So when it's rising just as the sun is setting, the sky is really bright. So it's, yeah, we are going to have to wait a little while still before we get to see our first pictures of the moon from Castle. But yeah, that's what our moonlight map is showing us. By the way, that little icon right in the middle of the map, that icon is a moon icon, and that is showing us where the moon is directly overhead at the moment. And it's pretty much over Singapore, which means that if you're in Singapore now and you look, right, you look straight up, the moon is sort of directly above.
Well, there you have it. They do have some commentary there. Let's check the Associated Press feed. Look at that. It's way off. It's almost off the screen. What are they doing? Meanwhile, what is this? The virtual telescope feed, they haven't even started yet. They're starting in another 18 minutes. I mean, they've missed the best part. And there's another feed. Wait a minute. Which feed is this? This one is the only other feed that I found. That's not an eclipse. That's a bit strange. Okay. I think the time and date one is the best. Well, after mine. I think mine's the best, actually. All right, we're getting very close to totality now. How long have we got? 3 minutes, 40 seconds. It's a little bit windy here. Just drinking a little, well, I won't say what it is. It's hard to show, isn't it? 3 minutes.
10 minutes.
So actually, it's looking less red now. I think I'll adjust the exposure again. You've got to play with the exposure to get the color to look right. Problem is you've got the really bright part on one side and the really dark part on the other side. So it's difficult to get it to look right. See there, you can't even tell it's eclipsed, can you? That's too much exposure. Right, there you can see just that tiny bit of bright moon illuminated by the sun, which is almost gone. Less than 2 minutes now until that's gone. And see, when that's gone, I should be able to bring up the exposure and then we should see the red color. It's strange, it's harder to see the red color now. If you look at the time and date one, see, theirs has looked that colour the whole time. It's sort of an orange colour. I am using quite a long exposure now. 6 seconds. Okay, 20 seconds until totality, according to my timer. Time and date is showing their progress bar on the left there is showing totality at 17:30 UTC, which has just passed. So I think we're in totality now. Let me just check the simulation. This shows it not quite, but I think this isn't really accurate. Yep, I think totality has begun. Now, The moon now looks sort of like it did before the eclipse started, or when we were in the penumbral phase. And that's because we've now got a much longer exposure than we had then. Now it's gone up to 11 seconds exposure because it's quite dark. So what I need to do is bring that down. I bring it down. I'm trying to see the red color, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Ooh, there it looks purple. It's still much brighter at the bottom right than the rest of it because it's only just inside the main shadow. But I will say,
It is a superb sight.
I should use my sound effects more.
Five minutes.
Now, I've just got a 5-minute alert that there's an occultation. Another occultation of a star in 5 minutes. Shall we look at that? That is... I'm confused. Oh, okay. I'll show you where that is. That is... go to the other camera. And... this is the black and white camera. Go up the top there. And...
4 minutes.
there is the star. Just off the top of the moon there's a star. And the moon is going to cover that star in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Go back to the color camera. Looks a little bit red there. It's very slow to update because of the long exposure. Because it's quite dark now. So we're using an exposure of 7 seconds. Okay, shall we watch that occultation? Let's go to the occultation cam. We've got a timer in the top left showing the countdown to this star being covered by the moon. And I will move the camera.
2 minutes.
Zoom in. There it is, just off the edge of the moon. This is the eclipsed moon. So we now have 1 minute 40 seconds until that is covered. That time should be very accurate. The last one was spot on. It's very exciting. We have 13 viewers.
Sixty
1 minute.
seconds.
Is that a little bit out of focus?
50 seconds.
I think it's a little bit out of focus, but it doesn't matter. It's shaking.
40 seconds.
That's from the wind. It's a lot windier than I expected.
30 seconds. 20 seconds.
It's very close to
15
the edge now.
seconds.
It's just like a little bump on the edge of the moon.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
There you go. Disappeared a little bit before 0.
Plus 5,
It's probably an inaccuracy in my
plus 10,
timer rather than
plus
it
15,
actually being early.
plus 20,
I'll just take a screenshot of that for the record.
plus 30, plus 40,
All right. Let's go back. First of all, zoom out on that. Let's
Plus
go
50.
back to the color camera. Recenter it.
plus 60,
Exposure is, yeah, still 7 seconds. So after I move the telescope, it takes a while for the image to update, and it may blur in the meantime.
five minutes,
So that's a 5-minute alert for the next occultation. Actually, you can see it top left there. It's another star just off the edge of the moon. Let's go back to this color camera and see if we can get some a good red image here. It is quite difficult. What I think I might go outside and actually look at it, because I haven't been outside yet. I haven't actually looked at the moon eclipsed. I've only looked at it on the camera. So I think I'll go outside and have a look.
4 minutes,
I'll be back in a moment. So I just had a quick look at it. It's over in the west.
3
It's
minutes.
very dark. I mean, you can barely see it. So maybe that's why I'm having trouble getting a good view. I mean, it doesn't even look red, really. It looks almost black by eye. So yeah, that might be why I'm having trouble getting any colour from it. See, that looks sort of pinkish. Okay, look at the, not that one, the time and date stream. See, theirs only looks sort of dull orange. Tuna cheese sandwich says too cloudy here in Singapore to see clearly. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We've been quite lucky here with the cloud. It was very cloudy up until even just 30 minutes before I started the stream. Very cloudy. And since I started, which was 2 a.m. here, it's been pretty clear the whole time. Just a few clouds drifting across. Okay, we've got another occultation happening. Let's see if we can see this one. Let's go to the occultation camera. It's happening in 1 minute. I'm a bit late.
60 seconds.
Whoops. Okay, I think it's... Wait a minute. Really?
50 seconds.
Okay, it's got to be that one. Just off the left edge there.
40 seconds.
40 seconds.
30 seconds.
Can I bring it up a little bit?
20 seconds. 15
Ooh,
seconds.
it's shimmering a lot. That's because of the
10, 9,
unstable atmosphere.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yep, that one disappeared right on 0.
Plus 5.
My
Plus 10.
colleague Dave sent me the predictions. He ran
Plus
a set of
15.
predictions for stars that would be occulted during the eclipse.
Plus 20.
And so I programmed them into my alert software. So that's why I'm getting these audio alerts
Plus 30.
with the countdowns. Okay, zoom out.
Plus 40.
Next one is a reappearance in 14 minutes.
Plus 50. Plus 60.
Okay, let's go back to the color camera. Recenter. Yep, it's really hard to see the red colour. I think I got the best red colour when it was like about 80% eclipsed. And we had the red part in the top left and the brighter part below it. But now it's quite difficult to see the red. Just looks a very subtle pink. I'm just wondering if there's something I can do with the camera settings. Wait a minute. Ooh. Oh, that's a negative image. It disappeared. It'll come back. There it is. Yeah, it looks a little bit pink, I think. I think we have to be satisfied with that. I guess I should explain the geometry of an eclipse. I haven't done that yet. I did have some slides here to explain that. Should have done this at the beginning. So this is what we're, the situation we're in now. We've got the sun shining on the Earth, and the moon is behind the Earth, and the Earth's shadow is falling on the moon. And the umbra there is the dark part of the shadow, and the penumbra is the less dark. If you're in the umbra, it means the entire sun is blocked from your view. If you're in the penumbra, it means only part of the sun is blocked from your view. So you're in shadow, but not complete shadow.
Do bear in mind that this is not to scale.
Definitely not to scale. It's a long way from being to scale. Now, the reason the moon looks red is interesting. It's because the Earth has an atmosphere, and the light from the sun is passing through that air on the edge of the Earth, and air causes light to be scattered, and it scatters the blue light more than the red light, and that's why the sky is blue, because the sunlight, the blue part of the sunlight gets scattered, and the red part passes directly through. So that's why we see red sunsets. So the sky, away from the sun's over there, and you're looking at right angles to it, you're seeing the scattered blue light. But if you're looking directly towards the sun, such as sunset, you see the red light, which doesn't get scattered. Remembering, of course, that sunlight is a combination of many colours combined to form white light. So it's that red light that goes through the atmosphere while the blue light gets scattered away, and it also gets bent by the atmosphere, a bit like a lens or a magnifying glass, causes it to fall on the moon even when it's in the Earth's shadow. So that's why the red light comes through and it illuminates the moon. So that's why the eclipse, the moon's not completely dark. It's got this red light lighting it up. Now, of course, the moon goes around the Earth once a month, roughly, but it doesn't go into the Earth's shadow every month, and that's because the moon's orbit is tilted a bit. Now, I've got actually a good graphic that shows this. If I go to the video again, I think it's the right. There's a NASA video, this one, and I'll just start it
this sudden
there.
change? A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon passes through the Earth's shadow, just as a solar eclipse occurs when part of the Earth passes through the moon's shadow. But the moon circles the Earth every month as it cycles through its phases, lining up at both full moon and new moon. So why don't eclipses happen twice a month? The reason is that the moon's orbit around the Earth is tilted relative to the Earth's orbit around the sun. Although the Earth and the moon always cast long shadows, they rarely shade each other thanks to the moon's orbital tilt. But if that's the case, why do eclipses happen at all? Throughout the year, the moon's orbital tilt remains fixed with respect to the stars, meaning that it changes with respect to the sun. About twice a year, this puts the moon in just the right position to pass through the Earth's shadow, causing a lunar eclipse. As the moon passes...
I think that's a good explanation. Better than I could do myself. So, do I have anything else? No. Just that map, which I showed earlier. Okay, so let's go back. Let's look at both cameras now. Obviously that one looks quite bright. I can hear the wind again. Normally in these conditions I wouldn't even open the dome because it's could get blown away by the wind. But I've made an exception in this case for this special occasion. That's actually quite a good view on that black and white camera. You can see that big crater there. That is, what is that crater? Yeah, what's that crater? Is that Tycho? I think Hugo's moving about. I don't know what that crater is. I can't see it on the map. Have I got it round the right way? Oh, is it Copernicus? No. No, it can't be Copernicus.
5 minutes.
Okay. Don't worry, I'm confused. Let's go back. I think it's Copernicus. That's my guess. Can probably find it on here actually. See, there it is. If I turn on the oh, you can't see that. If I turn on the labels, surface labels. It's too many labels. All right, won't worry about that. Okay, now I'm going to check the weather because I'm soon going to sign off and go to bed. It is almost 4 a.m. here.
4 minutes.
But what I'd like to do is check the weather. Because I want to know if I can leave my dome open. So here is the weather forecast. So it's Monday the 8th. And it's now, okay, it's about 4 a.m. So it's showing mostly clear. Yeah, there's a little bit of cloud at around 5 a.m.
3 minutes.
I'm looking to see if there's any rain forecast. Tuna cheese sandwich. He's going to bed too. I guess it's pretty late there in Singapore too. I'm not sure what Singapore's time zone is, but yeah, it's not so far off this one. Yep, I think I'll probably leave the stream running, leave my dome open, and the telescope should track the moon. Wait a minute. There's another occultation coming up in 2 minutes. It's a reappearance.
2 minutes.
Okay, so I wonder if we can see this. Reappearances are more tricky. Go to this camera. So the reappearance is happening in 1.5 minutes, and it should be happening if we look at the simulation. 591. Okay. It's happening
60
down the
seconds.
bottom here. Okay, we got a minute to go. It's right down the bottom, somewhere here.
50 seconds.
I don't know if you can see that. So a star is going to appear from behind the moon.
40 seconds.
These reappearances are tricky.
Thirty seconds. 20 seconds.
It's more difficult to spot a star appearing than disappearing.
15 seconds. 10,
It's almost right at the bottom, I think.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Oh yeah, there it is. It appeared.
Plus 5,
I should have zoomed in. I forgot to zoom in on that.
plus 10. Plus 15.
There's another reappearance happening in 5 minutes. But
Plus 20.
I don't think I'll stick around for that. I will call it a night, I think.
Plus
The
30.
rest of the eclipse will look like the first part, but in reverse.
Plus 40.
So I think I'll set the exposure to automatic.
Plus 50.
So hopefully when the partial phase, or when the total phase
Plus
ends,
60.
we start to see the bright part of the moon again. Hopefully the automatic exposure will keep it at a reasonable exposure. Now, the other thing I might want to do
4 minutes.
is set my telescope for lunar tracking. It's tracking at the rate of the stars, which is slightly different from the moon. And if I leave this for an hour or so, the moon will just drift out. Okay, wait a minute. Mount settings. Tracking rate. I've never done this before. Never set the rate to lunar rate. It's got a custom rate, but you have to set it to a certain number. That's weird.
3 minutes.
Set values. Ooh. It doesn't seem to have a lunar rate. Dang. So I'm doing a Google search to find this.
Two minutes.
You know what? I think it does the lunar rate automatically. I sent it to the moon, so it knows that it has to track at the rate of the moon. I think.
$60 seconds.
There's an hour occultation in 60 seconds.
50 seconds.
I'm not going to bother with it. Okay. I sent it to the moon.
40 seconds.
And I think it will track at the correct rate.
30 seconds.
It's a little off. Okay, I might just stop those alerts. I see 2 moons there. Center that. This is a slow process because it's such a long exposure. Oh, it's 26 seconds exposure. So after I move the mount, move the telescope, it takes a while before I can see if it's centered. Wait a minute. There's got to be a quicker way. Oh. Okay, that's not bad. It's centered. Put it back on automatic exposure. And center the simulation. Ooh. Big circle there. I select the moon. Okay. I'll turn off those highlighted stars. Okay, so there's the simulation. You can see the inner and outer shadow circles. We've got some cloud. It's a little bit of cloud. It's mainly in the east though, away from where the moon is. And we've got a reasonable view of the moon there, yeah, and it's doing quite long exposures. So I'm going to call it a night. Go to bed. It is now 4:07 a.m. here, but I'll leave the stream running. So if you do want to keep watching it, you can. But bear in mind that the moon will disappear behind some trees, from my point of view, at about, well, in about an hour from now. So around that time, roughly, I don't know exactly when it'll be, but I've put it in the timer there where it says moon treed. So it'll disappear around that time. Thanks for watching, Ashley. Yeah, around that time, it'll disappear. So, although the stream may go on because I won't be awake. Okay, so good night, everyone. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I can stream the next eclipse as well. Not the solar one, but I'm not sure when the next one. I think there's an eclipse coming up in March next year, which will be at a more reasonable hour. It'll be in the evening, so hopefully I can stream that. All right. So, turn on some music and sign off. Good night, everyone.
you.